Hello Mega Tripper and welcome to this very special bonus episode of Mega Trip, where I am about to embark, against my better judgment, on the longest journey possible on the planet Earth. And right now I'm going to cut in a little video from when it was first suggested to me that I do this journey. Here it is. The challenge is this, see, you are starting, or I'm starting, over here somewhere. There you go, somewhere. Bali's down here somewhere, and I'm going to Brazil over here. So that is literally half the way around the planet. There is absolutely no longer flights possible on the Earth. To there, halfway around the world. So there you go. I'm traveling from Bali in Indonesia all the way around the planet, and I'm going to do it on only 2 flights, a few vans, buses, whatever else it needs to get me there. So from Bali in Indonesia all the way around to Brazil. On this leg I'm actually going to Sao Paolo. I'll tell you a bit more about the journey in a minute, but for now, here's what's coming up on this bonus episode of Mega Trip. Oh, all good? Yes, that's it. Let's go. My arse is in tatters. A little bit worried about Denpasar airport, if I'm perfectly honest, but this lychee martini is soothing those worries away. I've just looked properly at the schedule for my next flight, and it's not 13 hours, it's actually 18 hours. Through the magic of editing, you now know more about what's going to happen to me on this epic journey. But anyway, as promised, I thought I'd tell you why. So I've been planning this mega trip for quite a while, and while I was planning, one of my very, very best friends, Lindsay, who we'll meet in later videos I'm sure, said to me, hey, it's my birthday, will you come and meet me wherever I am in the world? And I've travelled with Lindsay loads over the years, so I said yes. And at that stage I'd planned my journey from China to Japan, the Philippines to Bali, Indonesia, and she of course sent me a message saying, hey, we're doing my birthday in Rio. So at that point I was committed. Anyway, on this bonus episode, we're going to see how that journey goes. But for now, cue the music. Hello. All good? Yes, that's it. Let's go. Thank you, bye-bye. I'll go in the back, thank you, brother. Thank you. Perfect. So, let the exodus commence. Thank you. So this journey should take me a couple of days. What's your name, brother?
My name Gade, and you?
Dode? Dom. My name's Dom.
Yes. Where you come from?
From the UK.
UK.
London. But now I go to Brazil in South America.
Oh,
It's a long journey. And about how long is the drive to the airport?
Maybe 3 hours more.
3 hours.
Yes.
Let's hope so. Good traffic. Never good traffic in Bali. Right, so that's about the first 4 hours of this mammoth adventure done. One thing that has been consistent with every single car I've taken here in Bali, in Indonesia, is they are gloriously uncomfortable. My arse is in tatters. Ugh. Anyway, let's head into the airport and see what the old departure experience is like. I'm actually a little bit early, but hopefully there'll be a nice lounge inside, but you never know your luck. Check this out. Nice modern looking airport. Arrivals downstairs. WH Smith's, of course. So here, as with a lot of airports in Southeast Asia, you've actually got a level of security before you even check in. Go through the bag scan. Make sure everyone inside is nice and safe. I won't be too worried about that, and I won't be filming that. Okay, so that's security and passport control done. Apparently I had priority with my booking, but I couldn't see a priority line anywhere. Not that it really mattered, to be perfectly honest with you. Very quick, very efficient. Whole thing probably about 10 minutes. Would have been a lot quicker apart from the normal airport people not knowing how to people properly. Anyway, let's have a little look at Denpasar departures. Standard Tom Ford, YSL, Giorgio Armani, Chanel, Estee Lauder, L'Occitane, Bali duty free. All very nice, very pleasant if you're into that kind of thing, I'm sure. You'd probably struggle to know that this airport was in Indonesia at all, apart from, you know, the prices being in Indonesian rupiah. All very pleasant, all very glitzy in the duty free area. Right, I know a lot of you won't care about this, so all the non-smokers, you can fast forward on. But if you are a smoker and you're coming or you're leaving from Denpasar Airport, it's important that you know there's a little bit of a racket going on here. So there are public airside smoking lounges. However, those, I've been told by someone I was chatting to, will be closed. The doors are locked. And it's a little bit of a racket because the restaurants have their own smoking areas and you have to go in, you have to purchase something, and then you can go and have a little smoke. So if you are a smoker, that's what you need to do. Grab yourself a beer, grab yourself a cola, and then you can use one of the restaurant smoking lounges to your heart's content. Right, now everyone else can join back to the video. Okay, so that is definitely a little bit more like it. So the trick at the lounge here is go downstairs, the aircon's better, there's a bit more space. Exactly the same facilities, nice little bar in the corner offering wine, beer, whatever else you need. So I'm going to sit here for a couple of hours and wait for my first flight, have a couple of drinks, maybe do some editing, and that'll be my lot. So like I said, this journey is to Sao Paolo, and it is literally the longest journey you can make on the planet. It is one side of the globe to the other. So like I said, I'll share a bit more information with you. I'm flying with Turkish. I am flying business class. This is the biggest expense on all of Megatrip, and both flights have cost me just £3,500. So I think that's a really good deal. I tend to think business class is a good deal, about £100 an hour, and that's roughly where we are. So the first flight is just over 10,000 kilometres from here in Denpasar to Istanbul. That's about just over 13 hours, and that will then take us to the Istanbul airport, where they have the famous Turkish business class lounge, which I am really looking forward to giving a go, although it will be in the middle of a very, very long trip. And then it's another 13 and a bit hour flight, another 10,000 plus kilometres down to Sao Paolo, and then a taxi to the hotel. So from takeoff to landing on both flights, that's about 32 hours, and the whole thing will take 42 hours, something like that, to get me from one side of the planet to the other. I'm sure it'll be fine. I don't usually do airline reviews, but I'm going to let you know what my experience is like. So far, so good. I was a little bit worried about Denpasar Airport, if I'm perfectly honest, but this lychee martini is soothing those worries away. I'll see you on the plane.
Hello, sir. Welcome on board.
And just like that, I was on the first of 2 planes for this epic trip. I was in seat 7A for both of my flights, which on Turkish Airlines is this lie flat window seat. Lots of legroom, a storage cubby, and a nice amenities kit. They also provide these rather nice noise cancelling headphones. You can see as I get into the pack here, they're fantastic quality, particularly when compared to some competitors. It would have been a really nice touch if they were Bluetooth and something you could take with you. But anyway, it made using the in-flight entertainment system really, really special. The amenity kit comes in this rather nice little bag, and it also comes in 2 colours. We got a green one here. In there you can see a mask, a little face cloth, some earplugs, and some nice little toiletries, as you'd expect. Before takeoff, the chef brings you round your menu for the flight, and you can see here there's plenty of choices for both food and drink in lots of different languages. There really is a diverse selection, which is very much appreciated, especially when you're doing a couple of flights in just one day. Before takeoff, you get a little welcome drink, a little zesty for my taste if I'm honest, but a very nice touch. So talking about that in-flight entertainment system, it was very slick and had some really, really great choices, from latest blockbuster movies to full seasons of TV shows, and loads of different language options for both the audio language and subtitles, which is a really, really nice touch. Turkish also provide lots of other services through the in-flight entertainment system, such as Wi-Fi and some great ability to look at different camera angles on the flight, as well as your journey information. Now, talking about that chef, it's one of the biggest selling points on Turkish. They come round and take your order, but don't expect full chef treatment. They're more of a hat than a trained gastronome. But once the order was taken, it was time to push back and take to the skies. Crew came round to make up the bed before food service, which I've heard a few people complain about, but that level of extra comfort suits me just fine. A glass of champagne before dinner was much needed, and it's Tattinger on Turkish flights, which is very much to my taste. Then straight onto the starter of a chicken salad wrap for a lovely lamb skewer with ravioli for main. All very, very nice and very tasty. But that was put to shame by the selection of Turkish sweets for dessert. All of that put me to sleep for a few hours before waking up to a breakfast of fruit, ham and yoghurt. There were cooked options such as omelettes, but this was absolutely plenty for me, and a nice refreshing way to start the day before getting off the plane at Istanbul. Alright, so after 13 hours on a plane, I'm feeling a bit groggy, a bit tired, but I have made it to Istanbul. So from the very southeastern tip of Southeast Asia, all the way over to where Asia meets Europe, in Istanbul, on the Straits of the Bosphorus. Now, the original game plan was 2 flights, 13 hours, 5-hour break in the middle. This one has got in about 5 a.m. local time. My next one gets in around 5 a.m. local time. So 5 p.m. local time, I should say, in the afternoon. So the game plan was sleep through the first flight and then try and stay awake for the next one. But I've made a little bit of a strategic error. I did manage to sleep a good kind of 6-7 hours, so that was great. But I've just looked properly at the schedule for my next flight, and it's not 13 hours, it's actually 18 hours, and that doesn't leave for another 5 hours. So I won't be touching down in Sao Paolo for another 23 hours. So my plan of not sleeping between now and then, that might have to go out the window. Anyway, this is Istanbul airport, and we'll go try and get our transfer done. Definitely a bit of a transfer hub here at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I did just see a sign for fast track. And also there are loads of gates rather than just queuing at the first one. So let's keep on track. Okay, so I am through to the Turkish Airlines business class lounge. I have to say it's been a bit of a wrestle through the airport. It's a very large airport here in Istanbul. They actually have e-scooters knocking around, which I'm assuming you can hire to get around. It's that big. Very, very busy in the international connections section, but that's okay. I've made it through now. I've got to the lounge. I think I've got about 4 or 5 hours here, so a fair whack of time before I jump on my 18-hour flight, as I realised. I'm going to try and stay awake for this section and then eat something and then sleep a bit more on the plane. Try and figure out my sleep patterns in a way that's decent for when I land in Sao Paulo. Like I said before, I think I maybe underestimated just how brutal this journey would be. Obviously I'm going business class, so it could be a lot worse. Good news though, obviously the lounge here is very impressive. The food looks amazing. The little playerless piano as you walk on in. They do have suites where you can go and rest and sleep and have your own room. I'm not taking one of those today, but what I am going to do is desperately need to take a shower. So they give me a little buzzer. I've chucked my other bag in a locker, and now I'll just wait for this to go and I can get clean. And then once I've done that, I'll get some food, chill out for a little bit before jumping on the next plane all the way down to Sao Paulo, 18 hours away. Here we go. So a shower and a change of clothes goes an awfully long way. Just spent a few hours in the business class lounge, and it's now time to head off onto my next flight in this massive journey halfway around the world here in Istanbul. I'm not going to give you the full details of the second flight, as it was very much more of the same, but comfortably consistent. Back in trusty 7A with a new menu and a different colour amenity kit with the same content before heading to the skies above beautiful Istanbul. Upon takeoff, we had a light meal of Turkish snacks before some time to rest, before waking up for some dinner before landing. Dinner had lots of choices from a trolley. The pastries and bean salad were particularly good, for a scrumptious mixed grill for dinner. In all, the Turkish Airlines business class experience was very good, especially considering the cost for such a massive journey. The lounge in Istanbul is genuinely one of the very best, and the food service was consistent and to a high standard. 42 hours after setting off, we touched down in Sao Paulo, It's not a journey I'd recommend to anyone as I was absolutely broken, but thanks to Turkish Airlines, it was possible and I was set to explore Sao Paolo the next day. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as that's what I'll be doing next time here on Megatrip. Keep travelling and join us next time on Megatrip.